What's good, you guys? You know who it is, man. It's your boy, Mr. Relentless Lex, and I'm back like I never left this mother. Yes, Sirski. All right. Hello, somebody. So we got Miss Juicy revealing what really happened to the little women of Atlanta, and she's broke now. Little old Juicy. Say now her pockets is little.
You can't just
crazy.
walk the walk. You gotta talk the talk. And the world know that Miss Juicy, baby, got the best spit game in the house.
Child. Years after the cameras stopped rolling on the Little Women of Atlanta, the cast is speaking out about how the
Miss Juicy said it ain't cockiness, it's confident.
show affected their lives, emotionally, physically, and financially. Now, we know that the show faced a bunch of criticism for promoting harmful stereotypes and exploiting its cast for cheap drama rather than celebrating their real lives.
I don't necessarily want to be on reality TV. But, you know, like I said, I never thought about being on a reality TV show. I always thought about just being in movies and you know, I really want to be in a movie where I can just be myself as Tanya, or not even as Tanya, as Rebecca, or a motherfucking crackhead mom or something. You know, like I
Crackhead mom? Bro, you're too teeny to be a crackhead, bro. Your little body couldn't take smoking no crack. Oh, you couldn't be a crackhead, mama.
In movies that make people feel something, you know. And I don't want to be in the movie solely because I'm little. I really would want to be a part of getting little people out of the box of that being all we are used for or seen as is the joke, you know. Because I drive a car too, and car insurance is a lot. And like, why can't I be in the
right about that
when they charging me so much anyway? You feel me? Or like, you know, why can't I be washing a duck with Dawn dish soap because I'm saving animals?
Well, baby, reportedly, it was so much worse than that, and Miss Juicy has seen it all, from enduring the toxic environment on the show to having to find a regular job in a library and even joining a whole cult, y'all.
Religious cults right in our own backyard. They may preach volunteerism, but investigations, including one by the Today Show, charge that the World Mission Society Church of God frightens people into joining with predictions of doomsday and presses for big donations of money. One woman said the church in Ridgewood, New Jersey, made her stay there all the time, discouraging her from using the internet.
I mean, Miss Juicy has been through the most, so how about we just get right into breaking it all down? First of all, you'd be surprised that despite the show's success, many of the cast members were severely underpaid and restricted from seeking other work. Some even had to take on second jobs just to make ends meet while filming. And what's worse, there were leaked contracts which spilled on the restrictive clauses that prevented the cast from pursuing outside income, trapping them in a cycle of financial instability. And get this, the cast was allegedly also required to attend promotional events and other commitments without additional compensation. And one person who certainly went broke because of this was Miss Juicy. Okay, y'all remember when Miss Juicy suffered a stroke? The meme agency wrote a statement on her behalf saying, "We are thankful to announce Miss Juicy has been moved out of the ICU. However, there is a new journey ahead of her healing. We can confirm that Miss Juicy did suffer a stroke. As many of you know, Miss Juicy is an amazing actress, TV personality, and host. However, this journey and the journey ahead will not be easy. Miss Juicy is a very private person and wants everyone to know she is fighting and ready to go home. She wants to thank her fans for showing so much love and keeping her in their prayers."
One hospital first, went to the emergency room. I was completely out of it, so I didn't even know where I was going. And so once I went to the emergency room, and they had to, because I couldn't swallow.
Wow.
Because I was under for so long.
Oh, wow.
So they had to put a feeding tube down my nose to my throat.
At the time, Miss Juicy's sister set up a GoFundMe in an attempt to help alleviate the stress around the hospital and household bills. But to a lot of people, it was a bit confusing that she had to ask for money, having been the star of Little Women for years. Well, this only proved what some people had speculated for a while, which is that the show left her broke. There was actually a time in 2023 when she was working in a library just to make ends meet.
Man, that is sad, bro. There's nothing wrong with working in a library, but for the executives of that show, whoever paid them the money, bro, for them to do her like that or cut out the money or whatever they did to leave her happen to work in the library, I thought the show was pretty dope. Now people was watching it. But now she had to work in the library, had a stroke, probably from aggravation and stress. Dang, that's crazy, bro.
I mean, it's great that she got a regular job, but compared to what she was supposed to earn from being a reality star in a show that made millions because of her, the job at the library was definitely a downgrade. Apparently, it got so bad for Miss Juicy that she even joined a cult. Yeah, she joined the World Mission Society Church of God, WMSCOG, a church that believes that An Sang Hong is the second coming of Christ, and that God, the mother, represented by a woman named Zhang Gilja, is also divine. The church emphasizes
What? A Chinese man is the second coming of Christ? What?
the observance of the Sabbath on Saturday, the celebration of certain Old Testament feasts, and a focus on evangelism. It has actually grown rapidly and has members worldwide, but it has also faced criticism and controversy, particularly for its unorthodox beliefs and practices. Now, Miss Juicy's fans have said that sometime last year, she was actually posting photos from the meetings. And I don't know if she eventually left the cult, but the photos are not on her page. But to a lot of people, it was actually not surprising that the cult would prey on a woman like Miss Juicy, who was clearly vulnerable. Well, other than being underpaid, there are other things that the cast members, including Miss Juicy, had to go through, and it was just disheartening. Like, can you believe that even though the show was clearly for little women, production refused to accommodate the physical needs of the cast, leading to accidents and injuries? In one instance, a cast member reportedly slipped and fell during filming, and no medical staff were on site to assist. I mean, considering that the production knew very well going into the show that they were going to be working with people with dwarfism, it's honestly outrageous that some sets could not accommodate them, and they refused to make any adjustments. In addition, anyone who watched the show knows that it was famous for its explosive feuds and wild confrontations. But the thing is, all those fights that you saw were
Recently heard some stories about some social media coming out that you're pregnant. Can you please lay the law straight right now?
All I can say right now is I am pregnant.
Wow.
Oh, here we go again. Oh,
Prove it.
hell no.
And you can say that and stick it up your ass.
I'm
Whoa.
not the one that needs to stick it up something.
I do not have to prove it to you or anybody else. Okay? You ain't not nobody.
Evidently, I'm somebody because you keep trying to be like me.
Be like you, baby. Look at me.
I
Look
can't
at me
help
and
but
look
to
at
see
you.
you.
Girl, bye.
Have you always had this
No.
Wow.
hatred towards each other?
I just want her to be herself. I mean, the only reason why I call her out on her lies, because I know their lies.
Right.
I know this man. Not one time did he say, I got Minnie pregnant.
Yeah, based on reports, cast members like Miss Juicy revealed that the producer
How her little, not her little name, but how her nickname is gonna be Minnie. Now that's coincidental. Her nickname is Minnie. Now that's okay.
producers allegedly pushed them to stir up drama in exchange for screen time. Reportedly, they were pressured to fake fights or risk being written off the show. The cast was allegedly told that their screen time and ultimately their place on the show depended on how much drama they could create, and this manipulation often pushed the women into uncomfortable emotional roller coasters. Now, the problem with this is that while many of the arguments and fights were staged, others escalated into real-life altercations, leaving cast members with emotional scars and in some cases, physical injuries. People have actually pointed out a few times how the fights between Minnie and the twins, especially Andrea, were outrageous.
If I would have known this, I would have kept my ass at home.
I felt bad kicking Minnie out, but I really do think it's best for Chris and I. I just hope she can forgive me.
Wow, bro. Hey,
Oh, you don't want me to help
they
you?
say they want drama on every show.
I am not looking forward to crawling back to my mama. She knew this was gonna happen, and she warned me. I know she's gonna get on my case for not listening to her.
Seemingly, Minnie put herself below those twins, and people say that she did it because she had low self-esteem and felt that they were better than her because they were Hispanic and had light skin and straight hair. Followers also said that Minnie acted as their guard dog and endured so much, like how the twins used to laugh at Minnie when the other women would read her down. She also acted like a maid when Andrea had a baby, only to be kicked out because of a man who mistreated Andrea.
So, like, it's very hard for me to tell you this because I really do appreciate you being here, you know. I like you being around here. I don't feel lonely before Chris came back.
All right.
But now that Chris is like back, him and I have been talking. everyone like have our own privacy. So like,
What?
I think it's best if you just move out.
Unfortunately,
Oh my
many
God,
passed,
bro.
and the cast members admitted that they struggled to process her death, particularly after seeing her funeral aired in the final season. Allegedly, production didn't even allow them to mourn properly. Like, it was that insane and toxic. But you know what? Based on reports, this is exactly the level of toxicity the
Hey, yo, R.I.P. to Minnie, bro. That's crazy.
producers wanted. And by the way, other than the fake fights, allegedly cast members were also manipulated into forming fake friendships. Oh, there have also been reports that the production fabricated romantic storylines, leading to real-life heartbreak and infidelity for some cast members. One cast member allegedly discovered her partner's infidelity after watching it play out on the show. Then, for those who recall, the Tiny Twins faced their own share of relationship drama, with Andrea being caught in a tumultuous on-again, off-again relationship. Meanwhile, Moni Cachette's marriage and eventual divorce became a central storyline, but the emotional toll of having her private life dissected by millions was immense. Speaking of which, I also remember a scene where Juicy was embarrassed and rejected on TV after trying to get somebody to date her. Like, the guy didn't even look remotely interested in her, and it was quite sad to watch the Queen of Atlanta go down like that.
I think that everybody has a unique way of showing how much they love and care for a person, so.
I just want to let you know that I love you.
Wow, bro. I can barely see what's going on, but I can tell he ain't feeling it.
Oh my God. I poured my heart out to him, and he is so quiet.
People said that Juicy knew that man didn't want her, and it was just an embarrassing storyline she was doing, and he was in it just for the check. Basically, what was happening here was that producers allegedly prioritized ratings over the cast's well-being, leading to emotional breakdowns, anxiety, and depression with little to no support offered. A former crew member even described the working conditions as a lawsuit waiting to happen. Also, based on reports, one of the cast members even checked into a mental health facility during a break in filming because she was unable to cope with the pressure. In fact, when it comes to the mental health issues, Ms. Juicy has actually spoken openly about the challenges of fame, including the hateful comments and trolling she endured online. She talked about how cast members were forced to relive their most vulnerable moments as episodes aired, often accompanied by a flood of criticism from viewers. And for some, the experience was so traumatic that they've distanced themselves entirely from the reality TV world. I mean, this would explain why someone like Ms. Juicy would just give up and live a normal life. And let's also not forget that at some point, she also dated Ricky Smiley, and that relationship damaged her even further.
I said, Ricky,
Yes, sir.
here she is. Now, I dated Juicy for a little while. That didn't work out.
Juicy?
Juicy from the mornings from Little Women, Atlanta.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, just for a hot minute. Didn't. We went to Applebee's in the late fall.
That was a short relation. That didn't last. But no, Rick, I ain't going. No, I'm not doing this. I'm not doing it. Nope.
So yeah, Ms.
Shannon talking about that was a short relationship. That was funny.
Juicy went through it while on that show and after the show. And I totally see how a cult would think she was a good candidate. Well, Ms. Juicy has been pretty active on her TikTok lives recently, and she looks fine if you ask me. But what do you think of everything she has?
Man, that's crazy. Little old Juicy Fruit dating Ricky Smiley. I thought the show was pretty cool though. Besides, I didn't know all that type of drama was going on. I maybe watched it once or twice back when it was on, but they had a lot of shit going on, bro. Shannon to my, that was a short relationship. Shannon, you wrong for that, Shannon. Now.